Welcome to episode 370, where I'm talking about imbalances and disorders which can occur in the sweat channel, or Sweda Vaha Srotas, such as excessive sweating, lack of sweating, and abnormal sweating patterns. I also discuss the possible causes of these disorders, the Ayurvedic holistic treatment, and most importantly, how to prevent these conditions. So please stay tuned. Hi there, I'm your host Colette, and on this podcast I will be sharing the teachings of Ayurveda, yoga, and holistic health practices. Now, if you're new to Ayurveda, I recommend checking out the first couple of episodes where I do an introduction to Ayurveda and the mind-body types. Thanks for listening, and now here's a new episode. This episode is sponsored by Kerala Ayurveda. If you're ready to take your Ayurvedic education to the next level, Kerala Ayurveda Academy is the perfect place to learn. Rooted in a lineage tradition, the depth of wisdom comes from generations of experience. With classically trained faculty and an opportunity to study in Kerala, India, Ayurveda's birthplace, you'll receive an authentic and profound education. Their advanced courses provide the tools to master Ayurvedic healing practices, with options to study online or in California's Bay Area. Use the code ELEMENTS to save $100 and learn more at keralaayurveda.us/courses, and you'll find all that info in the show notes. Hey there, and welcome back to the Elements of Ayurveda podcast. It's Colette for a solo episode today, where I'm talking all about the disorders and imbalances that can occur in Sweda Vaha Srotas, or the sweat channel. I'm going to start this episode with covering some of the basics of this channel. The root or mula of Sweda Vaha Srotas are the sweat glands, which are connected to the root of the hairs all over the body. Sweat is a byproduct or waste of Meda Dhatu, the fat tissue, and the passage or marga are the sweat ducts. The mukha or opening of this channel are the pores of the skin and the opening of the sweat glands under the skin. So let's look at the functions of Sweda Vaha Srotas, the sweat channel. Thermoregulation. So the Sweda Vaha Srotas helps regulate body temperature by facilitating sweating, which cools the body down. Proper function prevents overheating and maintains a stable internal environment. Another function is detoxification. Sweat is one of the body's natural ways to eliminate toxins or ama, and strong-smelling sweat can be a sign of increased toxins or ama in the body. It's also a sign of a pitta aggravation too. Healthy sweating helps to cleanse the body by removing waste products through the skin. The sweat channel also helps with skin health. Proper functioning of these channels ensures healthy skin by keeping it hydrated and lubricated, as sweat is an oily substance, and also strengthening the hair roots. Balanced sweating prevents blockages, skin irritations, dryness, and conditions like rashes or infections on the skin. The sweat channel helps to keep Pitta dosha balanced because Pitta dosha is closely connected to Sweda Vaha Srotas. When the channels are functioning well, Pitta remains balanced, preventing heat-related disorders such as inflammation, burning sensations, and excessive internal heat. Another function is fluid balance. Sweat plays a role in maintaining proper fluid balance in the body, preventing dehydration and ensuring tissues remain adequately hydrated. Another function is emotional and mental balance. Sweating is linked to emotional health, as imbalances like excessive stress-induced sweating can indicate issues related to Vata and Pitta doshas. Maintaining healthy Sweda Vaha Srotas supports emotional stability and helps reduce anxiety. Now, if you want to know more about the functioning of Sweda Vaha Srotas and its relationship with the Pitta dosha and subdoshas involved, check out episode 298, where I discuss that in detail. In this episode, I'm delving deeper into the imbalances in this sweat channel. So let's look at some of the signs and symptoms of aggravation of Sweda Vaha Srotas. The first one being a lack of sweat, and therefore the skin is dry, rough, and cracking due to a lack of lubrication. There may be a loss of body hair, as remember before I mentioned that sweat helps to strengthen the hair roots. And so a lack of sweat can lead to weak hair roots and less lubrication because sweat is oily. So the skin is less lubricated and more dry. Too much sweat leaves the skin moist and oily or feeling slimy. So that's on the opposite end of the spectrum where there's too much sweat. And as a result, that oiliness makes the skin feel slimy. Foul smelling sweat is a sign of aggravation of this channel. Burning sensations and inflammatory skin conditions, acne, dermatitis, eczema, psoriasis, fungal infections, goosebumps, and fainting due to excessive sweating and decreased blood pressure. If these signs and symptoms in Sweda Vaha Srotas are not pacified, they can go on to manifest into serious disorders. And I'm going to cover some of the possible disorders in this channel. The first one being hyperhidrosis, which is excessive sweating. That's not always related to heat or exercise. There may also be a strong or unpleasant smell associated with excess sweat and a feeling of heat or burning in the skin, which can lead to conditions like heat rashes, prickly heat, or fungal infections. The skin can feel greasy and moist due to overactive sweat glands. This condition may be due to an aggravation of the Pitta dosha. So that was hyperhidrosis. The next disorder is hypohidrosis, which is reduced sweating, and anhidrosis, which is the inability to sweat. With these conditions, the skin becomes very dry and rough with a lack of moisture. There can be great difficulty regulating body temperature, which can lead to overheating, along with feeling sluggish, tired, and heavy due to poor elimination of toxins. This condition may be due to an aggravation of the Kapha dosha, resulting in blockages in the channels, and Agni Manda, a sluggish digestive fire, or an accumulation of ama or toxins in the body. It may also be due to an aggravation of the Vata dosha and a lack of hydration. The next disorder is abnormal sweating patterns, where there's excessive or abnormal sweating in areas like the palms of the hands, the feet, or under the nails, in areas that are not normally associated with sweat. Sweating triggered by anxiety, fear, or stress, which is more related to an imbalance in the Vata dosha. Other signs of Sweda Vaha Srotas imbalances are swelling or edema, swelling in certain body parts due to improper sweating or fluid retention, itching or inflammation, skin irritation often due to toxins not being excreted properly, skin infections, conditions like fungal infections, especially in warm, moist areas like the underarms or groin, caused by excessive sweating. Now, sweat content is different depending on our doshic makeup. And here are some signs of doshic imbalances. First of all, we know that the Pitta dosha is hot by nature and therefore creates a lot of heat in the body. And Pitta is a dosha which has the tendency to sweat the most. And when this dosha increases, it can lead to excessive sweating, burning sensations, and heat-related skin conditions. The Vata dosha in general creates little to no sweat. And a factor in this, of course, is the tendency for the Vata dosha to create dryness in the body. And when the Vata dosha increases, there's even more dryness throughout the body, a lack of sweating, and cold or dry skin. The Kapha dosha tends to sweat only on exertion. And if the Kapha dosha increases, it can lead to blockages in the sweat channels, leading to reduced sweating, swelling, or heaviness in the body. So now that we've covered the signs and symptoms of aggravation of the sweat channel and the possible disorders, let's look at some of the possible causes of aggravation of the sweat channel. The first one is disturbances in the Agni, the digestive fire, which could be due to ama accumulation, too much or too little hydration, Excess pitta aggravating foods like spicy, oily foods, fermented foods, alcohol or caffeine. Excess sugar, salt, and fatty foods in the diet. Strenuous exercise. Too little exercise is also a problem because you're not creating sweat on a regular basis. Too much exposure to heat, like being outdoors during the intense heat of the day, saunas. Going from heat to cold conditions, overheating in a workout and then doing, for example, a cold plunge straight away. Ayurveda teaches us that this practice is too shocking for the body. And emotional stress. Excess anger can aggravate pitta, resulting in more sweating, and grief and fear can aggravate the vata dosha, resulting in less sweat. Now, these imbalances and disorders in Sweda Vaha Srotas indicate the need for specific Ayurvedic interventions. It's important to do a comprehensive consultation to determine, of course, the rogi's prakruti, their birth constitution, and vikruti, their current imbalance. And in the case of Sweda Vaha Srotas, assessing the skin, the hair follicles, and the fat tissue, because sweat is a byproduct of the fat tissue, as I mentioned earlier, and sweat glands are connected to the root of the hairs all over our body. With this information gathered, an individualized strategy can be put together, along with tailored advice given to the rogi to restore balance, such as dietary adjustments, lifestyle changes, cleansing protocols, and possible Ayurveda herbal treatments and therapies as well. Of course, Ayurveda is all about preventative health. And so here are some general tips to help support the health and functioning of Sweda Vaha Srotas. The first thing you want to do is ensure proper functioning of the Agni, the digestive fire in the body, meaning that we're digesting our food without any pain, excessive gas, excessive bloating, burping. There should be no discomfort throughout our digestive process. So it's really important to address any issues you have with your digestive fire, your Agni. Now, the best way to reset the Agni is with a cleansing protocol that's tailored to you, as it will differ if you're experiencing Agni Manda, which is slow digestion, where you're feeling really full and heavy after food, or Agni Tikshna, which is sharp digestion, where you may be experiencing huge amounts of hunger. You can't keep yourself satisfied or satiated, and you may be feeling some heat or acidity in the body. Or Agni Vishma, which is irregular digestion. And this can result in burping, excessive bloating, excessive gas, gurgling in the stomach, and so on. So making sure that our digestive fire, or Agni, is functioning efficiently is of paramount importance to our overall health. The next is eating a diet that's appropriate for your constitution. For example, if you have a high pitta constitution, you will want to limit foods that are spicy, oily, salty, acidic, fermented, as they will increase pitta and promote sweating. And particularly you want to avoid these when the temperatures are high and your pitta is naturally high as well. So having an Ayurveda consultation and really understanding your doshic makeup is really important. So you know how to navigate your life and make the choices that are appropriate for your unique constitution, for the season, for the climate you live in, for your age, for your physical output, and so on. So it's really important to get that information tailored to you. The next tip is to practice Abhyanga, which is an oil massage that helps to support the functioning of Sweda Vaha Srotas. Ayurveda recommends that Abhyanga is part of your daily dinacharya, your self-care practices, and you can learn more about it in episode number 16, where I covered it in detail. Of course, you want to stay well hydrated, and I've discussed this lots of times in many episodes, and I feel it's important to repeat that each person will require different amounts of hydration depending on their doshic makeup, again, depending on their age, their physical output, the season, and the climate they're in. It's very individual. But in general, Vata needs the most amount of liquids. That's about 3 liters per day, or up to 100 ounces per day. Pitta needs around 2.5 liters per day. That's 84 ounces. And kava needs the least, around 1.5 to 2 liters per day. That's up to about 65 ounces. Making sure that you're sipping, not gulping, not overwhelming the digestive system. Warm fluids is really important. Always avoiding cold or iced drinks because we know they adversely affect the Agni, the digestive fire. Regular exercise, which is appropriate for your constitution, is really important for the healthy functioning of Sweda Vaha Srotas because this helps to maintain optimal sweat production. Now, I discussed the Ayurvedic guidelines for exercise in episode 14, so check that out for more details. Sweating is connected to our emotions. And if there is suppressed anger, it can result in a hot sweat and burning sensations on the skin due to excess pitta in Sweda Vaha Srotas. If there's a lot of fear and anxiety, this can aggravate vata dosha, which results in constriction due to excess vata in Sweda Vaha Srotas, leading to a lack of sweat. Bringing in mindfulness practices like yoga, meditation, breath practices, or spending time in nature to tune inwards, all these practices will help to create some space to help you process through emotions, whether that's going to a mindfulness class or, like I said, going out in nature. Just help to spend time with your thoughts and process through any emotions that are arising or getting professional help. And then there are Ayurvedic therapies like Shvedana or steam therapy, which helps to open up the pores and to promote sweating. And Udvartana, which is a herbal powder massage, which can help to cleanse blocked sweat channels. Maintaining the health of Sweda Vaha Srotas ensures the body can efficiently and effectively regulate temperature, eliminate toxins, maintain hydrated skin, and balance the doshas, all of which contribute to physical, mental, and emotional well-being. Now, if you need support on your journey, please check out my online services. I have online consultations where I can put together a strategy for your diet, lifestyle, self-care, and mindfulness practices to help you maintain balance and prevent illness. And of course, I will also address any current imbalances that are arising. And I have my Digestive Reset Cleanse. And my next group discounted cleanse starts January 31st, 2025. A great way to start the new year by taking care of your health. And if that date of January 31st doesn't work for your schedule, then check out my private cleanse, which you can do at any time. And you have me one-to-one for support. If you like to study by yourself, I recommend my online Daily Habits for Holistic Health program. It's a 28-day self-paced program with the objective to help you become your own healer. And I combine all these services in my Reset, Restore, Renew program. Now, I know that's a lot of information. So please check out my website, Elements Healing and Wellbeing, for more information. And on my website, I have a comparison chart so you can see what you get in each service and you can choose what best suits your needs. And if you would like to chat to me before booking, then please take advantage of my 15-minute services inquiry call and I can answer all of your questions. Thank you so much for tuning in today. And if you think this episode will be helpful to family or friends, please share it with them so we can spread this wisdom of Ayurveda. And if you haven't already subscribed or followed the podcast, please do so the new episodes will automatically download for you. And if you would like to leave a rating and review, if you feel you're getting benefit from this podcast, I would really appreciate that. Come join me on social media. You can find me on Facebook under Elements Healing and Wellbeing. And my new Instagram page is Elements of Ayurveda Podcast. Wishing you a happy and healthy holiday season. And thanks as always for your support. And until next time, take good care of yourself, be well, and bye for now. Slán go fóill.